Okay, here we go. So I'm making a Robert Indiana artwork. I'm gonna open up Photoshop, go File, New, or Control N. I'm gonna go to International Paper, A3. Some people set up is a little bit different, but basically what we want to get is a nice large 300 resolution square document, about 297 by 297. I mean, it could be anything. I mean, let's make it 300 by 300. It doesn't really matter. As long as it's square. So now we've got a nice, high quality, blank squared document. Now what I'm going to open is, I'll show you where I found it. I went bread silhouette, I looked up fork silhouette, I looked up stomach silhouette, and I got some nice bold shapes I thought were related. But you could do anything. I mean, like you could do hamburger silhouette, whatever you think is going to be nice and obviously part of what Robert Indiana might do if he was doing a work about food security. You could look up star as well if you wanted to. Anyway, what is that? So I'm going to open up stomach. I'm going to open up bread. We've got some bread. That's a PNG file, so it's got the background removed. I'm going to get a fork. What else? I think that was it. And so I'm going to start it off. I'm going to use stencil instead. So I'll show you what that looks like. So this is a stencil font, which he uses as well. Obviously, stencil is probably a bad word for it. About hunger. Anyway, something that relates to food security. Doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be that large. I'm just only doing this as an example because it's nice and large. And obvious. And now the stomach, if we look on our layers, it's black and white together. So we're going to have to think of a way to get just the black over there. I'm going to go select color range, just choose the black, cut the black out, Control X. I'm going to pop it in here. That's my stomach. This is a PNG file, so I can just drag that over. It's already done for us because of the type of file. And this fork, I want us to do that. So another way we could do it is that we could just go select color range and we could rip the white out of it. We could rip that out of it. Oh, only if that's done, sorry. So go select color range, select the white and rip it off. And now it's just the black fork. Or you could do what I did with the stomach, which was the opposite. Anyway, so what am I going to do? So I'm going to put this 90 degrees, the fork 90 degrees. I'm going to make it really nice and large. I'm going to put it smack bang in the center. The stomach is just a concept. It's just a really simplified version of a stomach. So I can squash it. I want it to fill the whole space. So I'm going to have to squish it a bit, but it doesn't matter because it's not medically accurate. Okay, so there's the stomach. It's going the whole way through the artwork. Actually, I'm just going to go back to the fork because I didn't really like how that happened. So I'm going to go select color range and just choose the black. I just noticed there's a lot of white fluff around it. So I'm going to go cut. Oh, you see, that's what I wanted to get rid of. Okay, I'm going to put the fork in now and make it really big. And that other fork, I don't want that anymore. So this one I can delete it. Don't want that one. Okay, so there's this fork, the stomach, and the bread. The bread I'm going to make really nice and large as well. Okay, now I just realized there's a whole lot of almost imperceptible marks on the bread. So I might get rid of that one as well. And open up the bread again and see if there's something I could do. Because I don't want a whole lot of lines going through it. So one option is doing a filter and putting a stamp on it, and that'll get rid of details like that. It just sort of simplifies it down, especially if you increase the smoothness. And I think that's done it actually. Yeah, so now it's just a black piece of bread. Right, there we go. And I'll make that nice and large. Now these purple lines that are coming on to help me, that's because I've gone with view, and there's this thing called snap. So that's really useful for centralizing things like a very geometric work like this. For other ones like Eduardo Recife, there's no point. So anyway, so there's all my layers, but obviously as you can see, the issue is that everything's black. So I'm going to click on the layer, double click on the layer, and go color overlay. I'm going to give that one red. The fork can be color overlay. I'm going to make it blue. Just something really bold. It doesn't have to be the colors that would naturally be on Robert Indiana just yet. And just so that you can see what you're doing, just to help you. Oh, it's a sick looking green. Oh well, too bad. Hunger. That's going to go at the top. Now arrange them in a way that's going to make sense to you. So you really want the largest one at the back, which is the stomach, then the bread, then the fork, oops, then the words. And you can arrange things now just thinking about how they're going to interact, okay? Because it's not important that they're centralized. It's more important that you get those nice overlaps of shapes that Robert Indiana does. So just play around for a little bit until you get those nice overlaps. I might bring... And when it's on snap, it's a little bit harder to get into certain positions. So sometimes you can have to use your cursor keys, which I'm doing now. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. There's going to be some very small little shapes, but I guess that's okay. That'll do. That'll do. And the fork, I'll move it down or up. Yeah, I might move it up. Just yeah, that's simple things. Okay. So once you're happy with that, go onto each consecutive layer, in fact, each layer, and just decrease the opacity a bit, which is found up here. See, if it's 0% opacity, you can't see it at all. Oh no, sorry, that's full. But here's the opacity, which is doing the same thing in this case. Do the same with fork. Fork comes down a bit see-through. Bread comes see-through a bit. You don't really actually need to do it with the last layer. You might just leave the layer like that. And then finally just go, once you're happy with it, go flatten image. Now this is going to discard all the layers, so now they're going to be locked together. So it's going to look like this, which looks okay. I still see that there's some stripes up here, which is annoying, but I'm going to have to get rid of those because that won't do. So I'm just going to use Magneto Lasso. You don't have to do this. If you choose a better quality image than I do, then you won't have this issue, but I do. And I'm going to get rid of that. And where else are they? It looks like there's going to be some stripes around here. I guess I should have chosen my bread a bit more carefully. Never mind. Okay, so I've gotten rid of most of them. There's still some on the green, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Roll with the punches. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use... So I'm going to get rid of all these other things because I don't need them anymore. I've already used them. I should have looked at that red a little bit more closely. And I'm going to open up an original Indiana. This one, because it's got some colors that are kind of similar to the LOVE one, which has been done to death. And this one, because there's heaps of colors in there, lots of browns and reds and clarets and dark purples and all such of things. Now this tool over here is your eyedropper. So I'm going to get the exact red that he uses, and it pops up here. I'm going to arrange my workspace a little bit better. And now I can use my paint bucket tool, which has disappeared because I've gone into another mode. If it disappears, just change the workspace. And there it is again. Don't have to worry about my layers anymore because there is no layers. It's just one thing. And I can start filling in some red here. So you see how much darker red that is. Yeah, there's more stripes everywhere. So that nice dark red is far more Robert Indiana. Now I'm going to use go for that sort of chocolatey brown here, and that can be this part of the bread, even though it does dull it down a bit, but that's okay. That's okay. That's the color of red. Then I'm going to use this pale blue. Where can I put that? It's really up to you how you position it, how you use it. You can be quite creative. You don't have, there's no rule or rhyme to this. As you see, this RUIZ, it's just using black and blue and that's the only options, but it just changes depending on whether it's an overlap or not. So there's some interesting things going on in this work if you really get close enough to realize it. Okay, so here's a simplified version of what I've done, just like filling up those areas very quickly using the colors that I found in a normal Robert Indiana. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a yellow and I'm going to make a background of that. There's two ways to do this. So you could either go totally new layer and press F7 so you can see what you're doing, and just completely fill in that yellow layer and put it beneath everything else, and then get rid of the white, which is easily done by going select color range, choosing all the white, and then you're just going to cut that out. Oops, sorry, I'll try that again. Choose the white and choose everything on this layer, and then remove that to have the yellow come beneath. But actually I accidentally deleted that, so I'm just going to go into my history for a second. Where did I do that? Yeah, there. Right, so what I meant to do was go in here, go select color range, choose the white, and then on this layer, rather than the yellow layer, is cut it out, revealing the yellow beneath. And the very, very last thing, we're going to do an ellipse, just so that we get that nice circle that Robert Indiana puts in a lot of his work. So I'm just going to make it really large so it overlaps a lot of the areas. Obviously this is the stroke, so the stroke is way too thick, so I'm going to decrease that. That's probably a bit too thin. That's about right. And then instead of a white, I'm going to have it sort of a green in the middle. That looks okay. All right, cool. So there's my ellipse, and I got that from the shape tool. So it could be rectangle, a rounded rectangle, ellipse, a polygon, a line, or a custom shape tool. But let's just keep things simple with the ellipse. Go back to your layers, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull this ellipse between the two. And I can already see the issue that there's kind of these lines going through because they're both green. So that was probably a bad choice on my behalf. But what we can do is we can go Control I just on this layer. And oh no, I can't until I rasterize it. Rasterize layer, and then we can go Command I and we can do the inverse. Now that's not a very Robert Indiana color, so we can go to Image, Hue Saturation. I can like move that color until it sort of looks a bit more like his kind of work. So I'm going to go for actually that peachy one, kind of a pink peachy, and see if that looks any better. And that looks a bit more retro, especially with that yellow. I'm happy with that. Except of course I need to have that on as well. So there's my Robert Indiana. So it's got a stomach going through it, a bread and a fork, but it's kind of hidden, and so is hunger. So that's kind of the idea of his artwork. So now I'm going to go File, Save As. Make sure you save it as a JPEG, and you name your work. So you could call this Robert Indiana if you want, and always save it at full quality, always at 12 quality. Cool, and that's it.